Welcome to the Joint Appropriations Committee and the round robin for the supplemental budget. We have a roll call.
Representative Henderson, Representative Larson, Representative Sherwood, Representative Stith,
Here.
Representative Walters, Representative Zwanitzer Dave,
Here.
Senator Anderson,
Here.
Senator Guru, here, Senator Nethercott, Senator Salazar, Co-Chairman Kinski,
Here.
Chairman Nicholas.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, just to kind of, Don, why don't you give us a little scenario of the process of how we go through the first 5 agencies and
Mr. Chairman, over the past 2.5 decades, to my knowledge, the Joint Appropriations Committee has had an opportunity to go back and revisit agencies which they previously voted upon and make modifications. In addition, you would make any technical corrections that staff have brought to your attention during our walkthrough, or if you would like to correct language in footnotes that did not meet the intent of your original motion in December. Those are really the 3 categories. This has been done in a different approach from time to time. I can recall moving around the room from member to member. I can also recall moving through agencies in agency number order. And I can also recall a third approach. None of this is bound by your rule. And the third approach is groups of amendments, either from one side or the other.
And so what we'll do today is we'll say, are there any amendments to agencies 1 through 5? Any amendments through 1 through 5? And so if either side has an amendment, you said, and you move to open that agency, then we'll move to open. You make the amendment, you move to close, and then you go back. Once you close, any other amendments 1 through 5, and then we go on to 6 through 10, and we'll just go up the line. So that's basically the process. The other thing is if you're confused or you want to take a timeout, whatever you need, just say timeout, or can we go back? Or you can say, I forgot agency 10. And if we're on 20, it's just not that big a deal. Because we want to accommodate everybody. It's not a race to close. But so we'll get used to the process. And
Mr. Chairman, I do have one question. It feels like this year might be a little bit different, but we advised all members of the amendments that they had on file with us via an email last night. I recognize not all of you may have had an opportunity to consult that email. Do you want us to bring those up to your attention again?
well, the answer is yeah. Just because you have them on your notes and some people might forget about them. And they have an opportunity to make the amendment. Yeah, but we won't do anything. Okay, with that, any other preliminary business, Don?
I'm sorry, Bob.
I say a couple of preliminary things that I need to do. So we have yet to adopt our joint appropriation rules. And so I would request that we go with our previous rules. Because next week we're doing the rules for the joint bodies, and we can just address it then, but that gives us rules in order to proceed. So I would entertain a motion to go with our existing rules.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify,
Basically temporary.
but I want to make sure they're temporary because we've got a contrary position to what the standard rules are.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'd so move.
Yeah, so moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, staff sent us a couple of things on some in the budget bill that talked about some just some small conforming changes that made in 072, section 311, section 313. They brought them to our attention yesterday, where they just deleted some language that made everything run better, we can just agree with that, or I would just make the motion that we adopt their actions in those three things now and have it officially done.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Everyone understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries.
So to clarify, that was just, Mr. Chairman, there was just some language things that they took the liberty of correcting, and they just went as a formality. They thought we should vote to approve.
And Mr. Chairman, I think we had the option of just nodding and saying we are okay with it, or we could take an official action, which we just did.
Okay, next, before us is the supplemental budget. Is there a motion through agencies 1 through 5? Is there a motion to open? 1 through 5. I don't see any motions of agencies 1 through 5. 6 through 10.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Representative Swanson.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to open agency number 6, please.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to remove footnote number 1. It's found on pages 15 through 16. In its entirety, it's the survey that's requiring state employees to determine if they'd be interested in moving to Fremont County or not.
Is there a second? I'll second for discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
this is a note that had been worked on long and hard. We've debated and debated and debated on it. And we're going to have to oppose the motion to strike so that the note stays there.
Any further discussion? Don?
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, you want to remove the $5,000 as well.
Mr. Chairman, that it would be correct, the appropriation.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
The noes have it. Any other motions?
Mr. Chairman,
Please proceed.
as long as we're on agency 06, I would move that we appropriate $350,000 general fund to agency 006 for costs associated with keeping the state capitol open on weekends all year.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Please.
Would it be acceptable to put language in that amendment to say that these funds are contingent upon and available upon keeping the Capitol open? So
I'll regard that as a friendly amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Don, you want to, does that make more sense? That's a yes. Okay. It's a friendly amendment. Any other amendments? All those in
Mr. Chairman,
favor
I
of the
just-
friendly amendment, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Back on the amendment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Motion to close
So moved.
agency 6. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Okay, going back to 6 through 10. Is there a motion to open any agencies 6 through 10? Seeing none. Agencies 11 through 15,
Mr. Chairman,
please.
I would move to open agency 11.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Please proceed.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to clarify the language on page 21 that regards property tax actions to say that the amount that we specified in the budget would be reduced by a like amount from any other personal property tax bill enacted. So I think we approved $1 million. If there's another bill that approves $500,000, there'd still be $500,000 here in relief. Go ahead.
Representative Stitt.
Mr. Chairman, no, I just thought the amount was 5 million in the
I
Existing
couldn't
draft.
recall what was the $5 million we approved on. So if there's a bill that gives $10 million worth of relief, the $5 million we've got here goes away. If a bill allocates $2.5 million, this makes up another $2.5 million so that we still get to $5 million.
Okay. Senator Grew.
I have a question, Don. We talked about in some of our other discussions about seeing if we tighten this up. And I guess I just want to make sure we're, at least what I'm voting on. The money that was been approved in the budget so far has a very specific purpose. And I just want to make sure if any bill passes, that's not, that appropriates money for tax relief comes off of this account, whether it is or whether it isn't part of this same parameters. And that, I just want, I guess maybe for the maker of the motion, is that what the intent is? Because I don't know, I mean, we may be getting into something that we're gonna get a result that I don't think we intended.
Mr. Chairman. Senator Grew, if I understand you, if there were a commercial property tax relief bill passed, you don't want that to count against this residential property tax.
Because, Mr. Chairman, this is specifically, right now, the way this is specifically laid out is for seniors on fixed incomes. And so that's what I'm saying,
Residential.
that if a commercial break comes, I don't want to.
That's certainly my intention in the motion. That it has to be, that it can't be commercial or anything else. It has to be residential property tax relief. Don?
Mr. Chairman, the current language already limits it to residential property tax relief. The difference here to Senator Garu's point is there are other programs different from this property tax relief program that could be created through new legislation. And if they were funded currently, as I read the motion, it would be reduced dollar for dollar. Another residential property tax relief program that is different from this.
That was, Mr. Chair, that wasn't for seniors. In other words, if it were just for anybody. And so then the senior program would be cut.
Okay,
That's
everyone
it.
understand the motion? Everyone understand the motion? Go ahead.
I don't, Mr. Chairman, I don't know that I do. I think, if I may, I want to clarify, because what we're trying to do is protect the 5 million in this footnote for senior property tax program. And what I think we want the footnote to say, if I understand it correct, is the intent was that any other legislation that has a similar, identical, would even be better, identical property tax program that would impact this one. So if we had an identical program, they just funded it for 10 million, this would be reduced. Is that right, or am I getting it wrong?
Well, I'm with you. The intent is that it's relief for seniors is my intent and with the income asset test, but I don't know about identical because there's some bills that are just going to keep the same program and raise the asset limit and raise the income. So it wouldn't meet the identical test in that case.
Mr. Chairman. Similar is, I think similar is okay. I think I know where the maker of the
Okay.
motion is going with that. I don't, that helps me a lot as far as
Thank you.
getting.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead, please.
just for clarity then. The goal here is to say 5 million will be available for this program. Unless some other bill appropriates more or less, but we're trying to hit the 5 million for this program. However, if a property tax relief bill for residential property tax relief bill that would affect everyone in the state were passed, the way this currently reads, it would make this 5 million scratch it off the table and not available. And I think that the intent of the motion is to make sure this 5 million is available for this program and not affected if other programs are enacted, but not compounded if more is added to it. I'm trying to get clarity from the bringers, why I say that.
Mr. Co-Chair, I'm fine with that if staff can put it into artfully crafted words.
Are you comfortable, Don?
Mr. Chairman, I believe we are. If there's any adoption or increased appropriation for this or a substantially similar program.
Okay. As amended, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. back on with one vote, back on the amendment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. That was agency 11. Is that right?
Move to close.
Move to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. 11 through 15. Agencies 11 through 15. Are there any motions? Agencies 16 through 20,
Mr. Chairman.
please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to open up agency 20, Department of Environmental Quality.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to add $1.5 million to in the air quality division for use for contract help to ensure air permits for pending industrial projects are completed in a timely manner. And the use of these funds would be available through fiscal year 2026.
Your second. Second discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I want to clarify, this is one time, not part of the standard budget.
One time is,
Okay.
is accurate. Thank you.
Okay, does everyone understand the amendment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Motion to close,
Mr. Chairman,
please proceed.
same agency, I would move to add $360,000 to the administration in Department of Environmental Quality to add an additional full-time employee as deputy director / ombudsman to help permit applicants. And this appropriation and full-time employee is one time. They would have to request it moving forward.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other motions on this agency?
Move to close.
20. Move to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that motion carries. We are now, any other agencies, 16 through 20? Don?
Mr. Chairman, I personally believe this request was likely duplicative of the motion that you just had, but there was a member who earlier this fall wished us to raise one FTE in the land quality division as opposed to the air quality division. Again, I think it was duplicative with the prior motion.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, we want to be careful. Let's go back because what I heard you say is there was a possible request in land quality and not air quality, but the position we just put in is in administration, right?
Okay. Okay. 15 through 20. We'll go to agencies 21 through 30, because we start spacing out agencies here a little bit.
Spaced out
Chairman.
agencies.
21 through 30.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'd like to open agency 24.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to increase funding by 2 million in general funds for a total of 6 million for the Wyoming Cultural Trust Fund.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other motions?
Move to close.
Move to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other agencies, 21 through 30? 21 through 30. Okay, 31 through 40. Agencies 31 through 40. Thirty-one through 40. Double check your notes. Seeing none. 41 through 50. Representative Larson.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to open agency 48, Department of Health.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, that motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to add 6.3 million general fund with a like 6.3 million federal funds to bring the DD agency providers up to consultant rebasing recommendation. That this is an amount would be biennialized moving forward.
Moved in seconds, discussion. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Please proceed.
in our statute 11129, there's an opportunity for medical professionals and facilities to provide volunteer services if they will, but without having liability, but they must provide liability insurance. But for volunteer professionals and these sorts of organizations, that's sometimes costly. I would move that we add $150,000 to the director's office in the Department of Health to help reimburse for this liability insurance.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Question being called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other motions?
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
while we're on agency 48, I'd like to clarify the language for the Department of Health footnote number 13 and to clarify that the Wyoming State Hospital demolition account. If the CAPCON, passes the language in the CAPCON for the account will be adopted.
Everyone understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other motions?
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
I would also, within agency 48, like to clarify the language on footnote 14 to clarify the funds in that section B to restore funding as an ongoing amount.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Move to close. All those in favor say aye. Oh. Okay, all those in favor to move to close, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, that motion carries. Anything else? Okay, next, 49. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Is there a motion? Please.
I would like to move to restore $2,702,448, of which $2,045,382 are general funds, $657,102 are federal funds to Department of Family Services to restore a step 2 cut made in the 21 in the last reductions in unit 5915 local services. These are to help reimburse PRTS RTCs for adolescent behavioral needs.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Move to
Mr.
close.
Chairman.
No, go ahead.
I have one more, and if can we do dueling agencies? I'd like to also at the same time open up agency 206, Department of Education.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move $3,050,000 from agency 206, Department of Education in the unit 1213 St. Stephen's Indian School, and moving forward require the Department of Education to make an exception request for this appropriation rather than have it in the standard budget. I would then take that those funds and move to agency 049, the Department of Family Services, and put $2 million in unit 5916, which is the Tribal Child Protection Services, to be used solely for program services per the definition that our Department of Family Services has with each of the tribal Department of Family Services. 1 million of the remaining funds would, the remainder of the funds would go to operations in the Department of Family Services for high behavioral needs, of which 500,000 would be available to tribal DFS placements, but requires a 1-to-1 match by, and Don, I'd like to put in there the requesting tribe, and so it doesn't have to be both of them from non-state funds. And this replaces cuts that we made in the last time.
Okay, please proceed.
Refresh my recollection. Is this all federal funds?
No. No, they are not.
Okay, I must be thinking of a different
Yeah,
program. then.
they are not.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further questions on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, this appropriation would move forward.
You want?
It would be ongoing.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carried. We have a motion to close 206 and
So moved.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Motion to move 49. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Please proceed. Does that move to close or moves to open? Moves to close. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, that motion carries. Any other agencies 41 through 50? Seeing none. Agencies 51 through 60.
Mr. Chairman,
Representative Stitt.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to open agency 60, state lands.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I would remove, I move to remove footnote 4 at pages 46 and 47 of the budget, providing criteria for counties and municipalities to qualify for mineral royalty grant.
Second.
Move and seconded. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other motions on agency 60?
Mr. Chairman, I move to close agency 60.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other agencies? 51 through 60. Agencies 61 through 70. Are there any motions? Seeing none? Go ahead. Don, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, there was earlier interest this fall regarding additional funds for research related to flows through forest media.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
this is Dr. Peary. I've determined that's not going to be available until next budget season.
Okay, thank you, Don. So we're at 61 through 70. Are there any motions? 71 through 80. 71 through 80. 81 through 90,
Mr. Chairman,
please.
I would like to open agency 85, the Wyoming Business Council.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Please proceed.
I'd like to add 5 million in general funds to the community facilities program and reflect that action in footnote 4, and that is pages 62 and 63 of the budget.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Stitt.
discussion. I just want to make sure I understand the motion. Is the motion to move 5 million or a different number?
It is to add 5 million in general funds to what's already in that footnote.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
could we have a moment?
No,
Okay.
it's okay. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, that motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
Also in agency 85, I would like to remove the language on lines 15 and 17 in the footnote number 4. That outline where the funds can be used and revert to the program's requirements and statute.
Second, Mr. Chairman,
Moved and seconded.
and I appreciate Representative Sherwood bringing this. That was my language originally, and I agree that we've got to revert back to the language.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other motions on the agency?
Mr. Chairman,
Please, Don?
again, may no longer be relevant, but there was a member who expressed interest in increasing the level of BRC funding in the budget.
Seeing no further action. All those in favor of to close, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Anything else, 81 through 90? Representative,
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to open agency 90, the Wyoming Energy Authority.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would, on page 64, in footnote number 1, like to, after the word coal marketing, I'd like to remove coal marketing and change it to mineral related marketing or market protection related work.
Does everyone understand the
And
motion?
put a period there and then delete the remainder of the footnote.
Mr. Chair.
Excuse me, delete 1A, B, and Romanet 2. And then moving on to Romanet 3, instead of doubled, it would be, I believe, ongoing is the right word.
Mr. Chairman, clarifying question.
Go ahead.
This is the section that currently reads coal, and this broadens it to mineral. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Second,
You understand the motion, Don? Everyone understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other activity in this?
Move to
agency?
close.
Move to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. 81 through 90. Any other agencies? Next is, let's go 91 through 105. Representative Stitt.
Mr. Chairman, I move to open Agency 101 Supreme Court.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr.
Please
Chairman,
proceed.
I move to provide a pay increase of 6% to circuit court judges and 7% to Supreme Court and District Court judges in an amount up to $877,000.
Second.
Moving second.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
So, and I think staff told me there's it's constitutional prohibition against an increase in your pay in office, and this wouldn't be effective until somebody retires or something. Is that right?
Go ahead, please, Don.
Mr. Chairman, and we can have legal counsel interpret this better. There is a constitutional prohibition for an increase during a judge's term. There is also a provision there that says if there is a legislative increase and a statute that allows for such increases in the text of the budget bill commensurate with executive branch increases, particularly for cost of living, then it can occur or could begin at the subsequent term or when a new judge is sworn in and creates, or one of their colleagues creates a new term. So the 877 is kind of the maximum. We don't know when that event would trigger the authorization.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I would like to amend my motion to include all of the things that Mr. Richardson said.
And we're swearing in a judge a week now. Is that-
We're swearing in quite a few. Yep.
Okay. Does everyone understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Is there any other motions in 101? Move to close.
Mr. Chairman.
Don?
Again, just raising these for points, there was some interest in revisiting the temporary funding. $50,000 was requested for magistrates for judge respite. There was an interest in revisiting that at one point.
Are there any motions? Seeing none, move to close. Don, another one?
Sorry, one more. There was also interest at one point in revisiting or the governor's or the court's request for one FTE staff attorney related to federal compliance.
Any other motions? Move to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other agencies 91 through 105? Okay, now we'll go 106 through 205. 106 through 205. Are there any motions? Seeing done?
There was a conversation by member at earlier this fall to revisit the issue of the ECA. That was agency 205.
Seeing no motions. All right. For another day. Any other agencies, 106 through 205? We'll do it again, 206, agency 206. Is there any other additional motions? So Don, I'm trying to make sure I'm
Mr. Chairman, there are agencies that go up to 280. I have no knowledge of any amendments there, but
Yeah, I don't either, but any other agency, any agency that has not been open. Any section 300s. Representative Walters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Procedurally, are all section 300s open, or do we open each section?
I think you open each one.
Okay, move to open section, excuse me, section 300.
Move to open. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In section 300, the first motion I would make is to create language, and this is conceptual at this point, to create language that says that sections P, Q, R, S, T, U, W, and Y would not be effective if House Bill 89 is enacted.
Okay, does everyone stay on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
make a second motion in those same sections, section 300 in the same sections, P, Q, R, S, T, U, W, Y. And really, it's just to update the numbers that are included to match the January Craig. And so it would be 383.6 million transfer from LSRA to the PMTF reserve account. And 179 million LSRA to the Common School Permanent Land Fund Reserve account, as well as 246.5 million FMRs to the Common School Permanent Land Fund Reserve account. So it's the same action, just simply updated to January, Craig.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other section 300 motions? Section 300 motions. No, wait, 1 second. One more. Go ahead.
I move to open a new section 300.
John?
It'll have to be,
before leaving actual section 300, again, earlier, there was a interest in deleting subsections T through Y.
Okay, but we've got one more motion. So go ahead. Representative Larson.
okay, so then if I'm following this right, probably the next one that I see would be possibly a 3 section. So let's do the sections in numerical order.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, motion to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Any other section? 300 through what, Don?
Mr. Chairman, how about 300 through 313?
300 through 313. Do I hear a motion?
Moved open. 313.
Please proceed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Add $55 million for commission approved projects based on the most recent condition and capacity evaluation. The funding source will be the SFP reserve account. And SCD is to review and approve the level 1s and level 2s done by the districts. I mean, I don't mean to indicate they have to approve them. They have to review them, and they have to obtain approval before proceeding if they make it through the list.
Moved and seconded. Everyone understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Okay. Any other motions on 313?
Move to close.
Move to close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Representative Stiff,
I move to open section 329.
329. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt Governor's Letter number 5 with an additional not to exceed $8 million in flex authority within section 310, provided however, that such additional flex funds shall be used to bring vacant positions up to 90% of market policy position MPP.
Everyone? Everyone understand the motion?
Mr. Chairman, did I hear him say in
Authority.
a second?
So Don, well, we want to make sure that the motion, that the appropriation is no more than the 48 million. And from vacancies that they can use the flex authority to capture those up to 8 million. Correct? Is that your understanding? Is that correct, Representative Stiff? Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Move to close.
That motion carries. Move to close. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to create I think we're creating a new section here. It would be, or it comes from section 325, but move to open it.
Move to open 325. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My motion is of the appropriation that we made last year in the section 300 to spend $5 million for the construction of an airport tower at an international airport in Wyoming. The expenditure of this appropriation is conditioned upon a match of funds in the ratio of one appropriated general fund to not less than $4 from any other source.
Everyone understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries.
Move to
Move
close.
to close 325. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
I've got a motion. I don't know where to put it. It would be the Capitol Square improvement. Is that, I believe that's a 300, isn't it? Which 300 section?
Mr. Chairman, it would be a creation of a new 300.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to create a new a new section 300.
Okay, please proceed.
I would move that we appropriate $1.5 million to the Capitol Square improvements and finishes account. It's been impacted by inflation, and a big part of this is the wayfinding, but mostly it's the acoustics, which are desperately in need of improvement.
And so and I would move to amend to just make sure we include finishing the broadcast studio with available funds, finishing a custodial break room, just so that those aren't ruled out, or if funds are available. And also any additions for the Capitol Extension Art Gallery
Okay,
with those funds.
but the acoustics is the priority, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I'll take that as I'll take that.
That's a
I'll
friendly.
take that as a second friendly amendment.
Okay, as friendly amended, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, that motion carried. Any other amendments?
Move to, do we need to move
Don?
to close that new section?
Yeah, move to close the new section. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Don? Any, yeah.
Yeah,
other-
Mr. Chairman, section 327, there was some discussion about whether or not that should be contingent upon the federal encumbrance bill that you had approved earlier this week.
Is there a motion? You moved open?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move to open section
All those in favor say
327.
aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that the $160 million appropriation in section 327 be contingent upon the passage of 23 LSO 0509.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Move to close. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Don?
Mr. Chairman, I think this is the last one we had a note on just during the December budget hearings. Section 321, 325, and 327. This is the energy matching funds, the infrastructure matching funds, and the new $160 million contingency. There was a discussion by a member to require some additional outcomes-based updates from the governor prior to expenditure of those dollars to the legislature.
That was my idea. We should make a motion to adopt.
I have to move one at a time, surely.
All three.
All three.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I now recall the discussion that we had in December. The motion would be that there's a lot of money there. And we're supportive, but prior to expenditure of those funds, the governor would give us 30 days notice and would brief JAC and Management Council on the proposed expenditure and including goals, outcomes proposed for the expenditures.
Everyone understand the motion? So, so what this is, with the ARPA dollars, there's roughly almost over $300 million now available to the chief executive for these large projects across the state, for whether it's a hydrogen hub or whatever it is. So we've given him the atrium, all of those that are out there.
CCUS.
And so what we're saying is, if you're going to use expend dollars out of this 300+ million, before you expend the monies, you have to come report and explain what you're doing to us and to Management Council, so that we can confer and respond, but mostly consult with us before it happens.
But otherwise, there's a great deal of latitude for the governor.
Yeah, and he still can do what.
Yeah.
It's just. And Don will work with the language. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries.
Move to
Kevin,
close.
move the close. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Kevin?
Mr. Chairman, going back to section 329, you allowed the executive branch $8 million worth of flex authority. The judicial branch doesn't have that. So perhaps we could add something along the lines to subject to availability of the judicial branch to allow them to do something similar with their flex authority.
So Don, just to explain what that would do.
Mr. Chairman, subsection C of section 310 applies to the judiciary, and it already allows them with the approval of the judiciary.
If there's something, just let us know. Okay. All right. Any other motions? Don?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, there is one additional motion that came up this winter. A member or members were interested in some matching funds for community colleges.
Are there any other motions? Any other motions? Okay. Any other motions on any agency? Or 300, section 300? Seeing none, we will close the round robin. Don, walk us through the process.
Mr. Chairman, LSO staff will incorporate the motions that you've made today and create a bill. This has to go through our LSO proofing and create a formal draft. Also, the director review our normal process. We believe that we can have a bill for you on Wednesday morning.
So what, Mr. Co-Chair, I think what we would like to do then is either Wednesday noon or Wednesday on adjournment, whatever is your preference. We'll schedule a meeting to review and take a final vote. Is that right, Don? Because we still have to vote on the entire bill. We have to review it and have a chance to read it. I'm thinking once we get it, we might want a little more time to read it. So would Thursday work for you?
Mr. Chairman, at that point, it's entirely your discretion. The tentative schedule approved by Management Council for the floors would be the following Monday. So you'd have 10 days advance notice from that Wednesday to not the next Monday, but
But
the following Monday.
right. So I just want to get our schedule set, so.
Yeah, I'm
your-
trying to,
your
so,
feedback on
so
that.
on Thursday. You want to do it first thing in the morning,
Well,
or would you rather have till noon?
Are you going to walk through it with us? All the amendments or?
Mr. Chairman, since I've already walked through the base bill, I'd probably only walk through the amendment.
That's what I mean. And
Yes.
so how much time do you think we'll need?
Mr. Chairman, we'll do it in the detail you want, an hour.
So if we do it 8 o'clock on Thursday morning?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, let's just schedule that time. We can have at least one day to read through it and make sure we're agreed with it.
I think the sooner we get up to the floor, the better.
Yeah, I agree. Don, any other housekeeping?
Mr. Chairman, just thinking ahead, and I recognize this was a significant effort for the committee. You do have potentially some additional bills that you have not finalized that are running up eventually against the bill deadline. You have the capital construction bill, if you wanted to address that sometime next week. You have the ARPA bill, and you also have a bill draft for the full committee relative to retirement. Those are the three outstanding at this time.
So, and in response to that, Mr. Co-Chair, I would suggest that we do the ARPA bill first on Monday or Tuesday. And then the following day or next day, the Capcom bill. And when we can also do that retirement bill either Monday or Tuesday as well.
That's not.
Okay, not Monday morning.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to avoid Monday because I've got some team members that haven't seen ARPA and Capcom.
Okay.
We need some time to brief up.
So you want to do ARPA on Tuesday? And then we'll let you know on the other two.
Yeah, so Mr. Chair, just remember, we went through both CapCon and ARPA on.
Last week.
Yeah, but you know, we want to be considering what we might
Sure.
want to do or not
Right,
want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So anything else, Don?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Well, and as you know, notice we didn't take public comment because we're marking up the bill, and that's not where that is as part of the document. But thank you, agencies, for being here, and hopefully you all feel like you didn't get coal on your stock. And we appreciate your patience. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to extend a thank you to staff, to the executive branch staff as well, and to our colleagues of the House. Very productive, and look forward to seeing you in the well. Is that where it is? The well. But thank you all very much, and everybody have a wonderful week.